It's that time of year again, celebrating movies that we watched.
Oh, it's like a Robert Goulet thing you had going.
Goulet. Hey everybody, it's Jordan Lowe coming to you for the 2021 Poobah Awards from Ka-Pow, the Pop Culture Podcast.
I'm Cliff Barnes.
I'm the Poobah, but I'm not feeling very Poobah right now.
Poobah-licious. Drop that in there quick.
We're doing our draft this year like we did last year with our fancy system, and we pre-picked which picks we get. And
Poobah-licious.
I'm not very high up on the list of picks, so we're gonna call these the Cat Daddy Awards or something. So
Poobah-licious.
Now,
yeah, this is another one of our longest running traditions. Every year, Seth, our resident film lover, who watched way more movies, probably as many as me and Cliff put together every year, would go to travel to bigger cities to watch the indies, rent them via demand. Really makes an effort to go see all the latest movies, all the Oscar nominees, all that sort of stuff. So Seth knows his stuff when it comes to the quality films of the year, and every year he counted them down. Well, we've instituted this new system of where we kind of collaboratively come up with a list. It's really bit you.
It really bit me this time. So let me tell you, first off, how many movies did we all see here? How many movies did you see, Cliff?
25, I counted.
Jordan?
I saw 38, which was 2 more than last year. Only 36 last year, 38 this year.
I saw 59. So that's pretty low.
Less.
It's low.
That's the lowest ever.
A lot of stuff just didn't come out. They keep pushing stuff.
Yep.
And there was a lot of good TV, so that's what I watched. Anyway, we predetermined here our brackets, or our lists of who gets what picks, and I'm going to break it down for anyone if you want to write down or care who's picking and why and what special powers they have here. So I will have I've column C. We're doing a top 11. If that sounds crazy to you, that's how it is. Sorry. Last year we did a top 7, just me and Jordan, but it's me, Jordan, Cliff this year, and it's going to be a top 11.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's going to be good.
I have column C. I am picks 11, 10, 6, and 3. And I have a power. I can do 1 veto of someone else's pick. Now, if you veto someone's pick, that does not mean that it cannot be picked higher. It's just you veto it. Maybe it goes away and never comes back because they have something better ranked above that. Or maybe I'm vetoing it because I want to pick it myself even higher. I also have a veto override. I can't use it. Like if someone vetoes a pick, I can override it. Not one of my own. If someone vetoes my pick, I can't do it. But if like Cliff vetoed Jordan's, I can override that and say, nope, I agree. That has happened before. Now Cliff is column B. He is picks 9, 8, 5, and 2. And he only has 1 special power. He has 1 veto. And Jordan is column A. He only has 3 picks, where Cliff and I each have 4. But Jordan's in the sweet spot. He has picks 7, 4, and numero uno. And he has 2 vetoes to protect that number 1 pick. If he wants to make sure it stays there, he's got to cleverly use those 2 vetoes, which I can see
we have never done in the history of this.
Yeah, I can totally
tonight.
Yeah, I could totally see, no vetoes getting used. It's happened before, or I could see us all use them and making a big mess here. So we'll see what happens. So
another caveat here. We are not the Oscars. We are not the Critics' Choice Awards. We are not professional critics. We haven't seen every movie that's come out. to objectively choose. So these are our favorites. They are our personal list. There's a lot of movies I haven't seen yet. My list could change in 6 months once I've finally seen all these movies. So this is a snapshot in time of what we happened to see that touched us the most.
Yeah. This is the Ka-Pow list. I'm going to start off with one thing I want to say. I'm scrolling down here. I'm going to say, what's the worst movie I saw this year?
Oh, I got that.
What's yours?
My worst movie, coming in just under Dawn of the Beast, which was a low-budget movie where Bigfoot fought Wendigos. So worse than that was The Woman in the Window, that Amy Adams movie on Netflix.
Yeah, I remember you complaining about
was
that.
So horrendously done that it felt like aliens writing a movie, how people would act. It made no sense. It was
You
ridiculous.
convinced me not to watch it. I never watched it.
I feel like you should, just to see how terrible it is. But
I don't think so. I may watch those Wendigos.
You should watch Dawn of the Beast. It was pretty rad.
Yeah, sounds like it. It was number 37 on your list. My worst movie of the year would also be my most. I didn't get it. They did, and I didn't, because it got really good reviews. You've never heard of it. It's called Boiling Point, and it's described as a head chef balances multiple personnel and professional crises at a popular restaurant in London. And this is a one of those movies that they just do in an hour and a half or whatever, and just the camera keeps running. They've got it all choreographed to do this, and it's supposed to be like an hour and a half at this busy restaurant, high-end restaurant, just all the stresses of being a chef running this restaurant and all the employees. And people loved it. Like, it got all kinds of good reviews. Like, this is just so good and all this. It's my least favorite, not only because I didn't like it, but it actively made me mad. Like, I was so mad watching this movie. And I was actually surprised, because I feel like most people have worked in restaurants. Not most, but a lot of people in high school, you worked at a fast food place or something. But I would think some of these reviewers might have also worked in restaurants when they were young. But I worked in restaurants for like 15 years. And this movie did not depict realistically to the degree I needed to be convinced that, like, all the reviews are like, oh, wow, the stress and how fast paced and all this stuff. It was not like that at all. They were describing something that was not on the screen compared to my experience in restaurants. They were doing things like showing the employees the stresses, like they were doing good the subject matter of, like, these employees are dating, and this girl, the hostess, is flirting with the bartender while they're busy and stuff. But it was all just at such a slow pace that was not really how it is in a restaurant. If you're busy, all the million things are happening at once. So, like, somebody's steak wasn't done right, and they took it back to the kitchen, and they spent all this time talking, complaining about it, and that was all real. But while that's happening, you would also still be cooking for a restaurant full of people. You would not stop for 10 minutes and talk about this, and the world stops. That's not how it works at all. It's a balance. It is. This movie could have been great, showing the choreography of a kitchen, doing all the, it is a art. Everyone working together, putting these plates out, and they didn't do any of that in this movie, and it frustrated the heck out of me why anyone was impressed by it. I hated it. Okay, let's count down some good movies. Which we want to preface this by saying there weren't a lot of fantastic movies that we're feeling really strongly about, I don't think. So this ought to be an interesting list.
I want to preface this also of like some of the best movies or like the most quality movies were also not very fun and like weren't really enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
There's a lot of depressing stuff. The stuff that's like getting awards buzz wasn't the fun stuff. So
True.
Balancing act.
So
11.
I don't know what to do here. I'm starting it off at number 11. I only get 4 picks, so I have to just basically pick my number 4 unless, it's this balance of what are other people going to pick. Are you going to pick some of this stuff for me? I don't know. I'm going to say at my number 11, it's not strictly a movie, but I would say I'm going to go with the documentary of the Beatles, Get Back. I thought that was a phenomenal experience to watch those 8 hours or whatever. And yeah, maybe it felt like a TV series or whatever, but just seeing these moments of these guys, like living with them for the couple days it took me to watch that, and seeing them in the studio and that footage and them, the big moment, Paul writing Get Back, pulling it from the ether, sitting there while, John's not even there. He's not even there yet. He was late all the time. But they're sitting there, Paul doodles around, and just all of a sudden just starts coming up with the song Get Back, and it's just amazing to watch this, something you've heard your whole life, and watch these guys create it. Meanwhile, Ringo and George are sitting there like paying no attention. And whenever they would play a song for the first time, it would pop up on the screen what the song was. Mm-hmm. And the classic thing that was so neat to see was every time it would always say Lennon McCartney, mm-hmm. because they took equal credit for everything that they wrote, and John wasn't even there when that happened. So when it pops up Lennon McCartney, I'm like, that's a real slap in the face, John. You weren't even on the street. But then ultimately building up to the rooftop concert and the police trying to get up at them and stuff, and just seeing these, how people reacted to them at the time, and them planning this whole album and, this live concert, and knowing that it was the end of them shortly thereafter, and finding out, just how it really was. So I liked it.
I liked it too. I really hope we get more projects like this from big time filmmakers that, this found footage almost, and they just are like, what are we going to use? We're going to use it all. We're just going to, they documented what happened for real. We're going to put it out there and preserve it forever. And now that we can look back and see the historical significance of the entire, project, and what really went down. So, yeah, that's cool.
So that was my number 11. Anybody have any objections?
Hopefully the longest thing on this list.
It's the longest movie on this list. It barely qualifies as a movie. But it's number 11, not even in the top 10, guys. Jeez. I really don't know what to do way up here on this. I feel like I'm not going to say one of my top ones, and you guys are going to pick it. And that's going to be a problem.
Who's got number 10?
I do. That's the problem. I have to do it again right now.
10.
Yeah, that's the other calculation you have to make, is like, what have we all seen? Like, is there a chance somebody's going to pick something? Yeah. Like, they might not even have seen it. Might not be on their radar.
Yeah, I don't know. I purposely didn't even ask if you had seen some of these movies, but I'm assuming some you didn't. You have to give me just a second. Wow. I'm going to do another oddball and then just see what happens after this. Because luckily it's a year that my heart's not set on a bunch of stuff. I know I can get in my top couple. This is a movie, again, loosely a movie, but it was it was a movie. So
loosely a movie. Good enough.
Came out. It technically didn't even come out this past year, but it.
It's not a movie. It didn't come out this year.
It's a coloring book.
Yeah. No, we didn't. We did not have the ability to see this until this year, but it was way back at the beginning of the year. And it was released on Hulu, directed by Frank Oz. It was the performance of Derek Delgadio's In and of Itself. And
I forgot about that. Okay, yeah.
Every secret has a unique weight to it, and you can only carry them for so long. You think this is a performance. You see a man in a theater. There's an audience. It is difficult to see past what this looks like. You can see it for what it is, or you can imagine what it could be. Before you came in here, there was a wall. Maybe you chose something you feel reflects who you really are in this world. The conceptual artist, the teacher. Someone here is an idiot. Idiot, wherever you are, please raise your hand. That's about right. I come here day after day after day and attempt to defy some odds. I do not expect you to believe anything you're seeing.
He is a magician, and he cultivated this act that he put on over a period of time, and had it combined, Frank Oz filmed this, and it combined it over time. A lot of moments from the act. He did the same act every night, but, got different shots. It's very well filmed, and just showing how this went down. And it was supposed to, elicit a lot of emotion from you. It was modern magic, really, is what it is, where they try to introduce a story into it. And this is the best version of that I've ever seen. There are parts of it that, are just card tricks and stuff, and that, kind of took me a little bit out of it. But ultimately, the highlights of this, and I highly recommend it. It's on Hulu, but he is, kind of examining his life. It's a little late on thick about, just examining the problems in his life. He grew up with his mom was gay, and how he was bullied because of that and stuff. But the audience, when you arrive to the show, they have a thing set up outside, and it says at the top, "I am," and then underneath there are, like, however many people could possibly be in the audience. There are little cards that could say scientist, a mother, a babysitter, a believer, a podcaster, a million different things, from facts to, just oddball, ideas. But you could pick whatever in the moment you felt like you related to, and then you go in, you just pick that. You don't wear it or anything. That's what you picked when you went in. You go sit down. And then he does his act. Also, partway through, he asks someone if they will come to the next show, and he explains that they're not going to get to stay for all of this show. And he's kind of said that at the end of this show, you're going to see an elephant, and that it's a concept, that goes along with the show. And then he basically says, you're going to be Mr. Tomorrow, And he shows like multiple people. Like I said, they're showing from different shows. So all these people that chose to be that. And then he'll say, and this is Miss Yesterday. And he has this book that he never gets to keep. He takes it from the yesterday person and hands it to the tomorrow person. But in between, that person that had it yesterday comes in and reads what they put in it. And they're supposed to put where they left that. Well, they write what they saw yesterday in their own words. And then they write how they think the show ended, even though they had not seen that yet. And then they give it to the next person. And people really went all out putting all this stuff in it. It just is a neat experience. Also, there's moments where these people get this is a magic trick, so he has letters he'll hand people that are addressed to him, where people send him letters, and he gives it to someone he pulled out of the audience, and shows all these people from all these shows opening letters where the letter may say on the back, father, mother, sister, brother, cousin, best friend, all this stuff. And they just pick a random letter, and it turns out it's like from this person, in their life. And it's like, how did you do this type thing? How did you randomly pick me? And how is there a letter from them? And, it's just brings people to tears in watching it. So, but ultimately my favorite moment of the whole thing is I'm sure it's a simple nothing trick where he's figured out how to keep track of all this stuff, but he knows at the end of the show he has memorized who everyone is in the audience, and whatever card they picked, and he asks them, if you picked a card just as a joke, like if you're like, I'm a ninja, and you don't really identify, you don't want to be considered that person, sit down. But if you picked a card that you really feel that's who you are and want to be recognized as it, stay standing. It says, because they say to actually be something, you have to think you are that, and someone has to acknowledge it. And he walks up and says, you are a single mother. And just the effect of someone stayed standing, and he looks them in the eye and knows, first off, they're not expecting him to know what they picked, but he is acknowledging them as that, is amazing. The number one moment in the movie is this guy is looking at him, and he looks over at this guy standing there, and he realizes he's figuring out, okay, what card did that guy pick through whatever system he has. And then he's realizing he's about to acknowledge to this guy, and he just says, you're nobody. That's the card that guy picked. And just the look on that guy's face is, it's an emotional magic, show that I think everybody should see. There's tons of moments in it. And, I think Stephen Colbert produced it or something. He had funded it and stuff, or had something to do with it. Like a lot of people, people were like blown away by the show and stuff, and it's good.
Yeah, that was the story. Colbert saw the show live and was so touched by it. He said more people need to experience this, so put his production company behind it.
So I just wanted to get, if you never heard of it, you should check it out. So that's at number 10, Derek Delgadio's In and of Itself. So that puts us at, unless
didn't even
anybody
ask,
veto
his magic trick is not even ask for a veto.
Yeah. Does anybody want to veto it? And in order, that would be Jordan would have to decide first. Are you vetoing?
My only thought is, Cliff, what would have been the reaction? Because this is a filmed performance as a movie.
Yes.
If Cliff had walked in here and said his favorite movie there was Hamilton, would that have slid?
It was released as a movie.
Would that have slid? Okay.
It was on some people's list that year.
Yeah, year before.
So, yeah.
So if you can admit that, I will allow this to go.
But you can veto me. I can talk about more movies.
No, it seems like a very, in a year where we're desperate for good positive emotions, this feels necessary.
What about you, Cliff? Veto?
No.
9.
Okay, number 9, Cliff will make his first pick.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll be the first one to pick a real movie.
All right. Hey, you give me these high up picks, I gotta reach back.
No. Gosh, I don't know. I'm just gonna.
Mine's a puppet show that was filmed
Yes.
with claymation.
Was it filmed? Good.
And it's audio
that
only.
It's our episode
It's
number.
a radio drama.
Yeah. It's Ka-Pow episode.
Gosh. I did not see as many movies as you guys did, which is normal.
Hope you saw at least 4 because you have 4 picks.
I saw at least 4. I quickly, the other day when we were talking about this on our messenger, I just made a quick list. I pulled up movies released in 2022, went right through that list, wrote down every movie I'd seen, came down with 25 of them. Neither of the movies that are at our number 11 or 10 were on that list at all. For whatever reason, I don't know. So I then took my 25 down to 12, top 12, and just wrote them down. Just really quick, like I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to go with the gut feeling. So
that's the way to do it.
That's how I did it.
Extra scrutiny doesn't really add on.
No.
It's your gut feeling.
No.
Yeah.
So a little bit of strategy in here. So I'm going to go, I'm going to start out here with my top 5 because I'm pretty sure one of these movies is somebody on somebody else's list.
Oh, that's what you think.
Yeah.
I was counting on you to pick it.
But if it's not, if the one I think is not on everybody's list, I'm okay with that. So number 5 is going to be a real movie. One of my favorite genres of movies are Christmas movies. And I love Christmas movies. I
know
love
what you're gonna pick.
Nostalgic Christmas movies. And as a family, we watched, we kind of collect them, and then we kind of add a movie every year that we watch during the season. Becomes a instant classic in our household. This year, that movie was 8-Bit Christmas. It was just, we talked about it not too long ago on an episode. It was just a whole lot of fun for our entire family when we sat down to watch it together. Neil Patrick Harris plays the grown-up version of the kid.
The Christmas Story 2022.
Right. Yeah. No more BB guns. We got Nintendos, and I am the perfect age for the nostalgia of this because I would have been about that kid's age, getting that Nintendo. So for me, I just thought it was fun. I thought it was acted well enough, written fine, and it made me laugh, and the end made me cry, and I thought it was a nice little twist I didn't see coming from a mile away, and I just thought, this is a movie we're going to watch over and over and over for the next 20 years or whatever, and that's my pick.
I'm an Atari guy, given the Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this. Again, like you said, I knew I was gonna like it just because of the Nintendo stuff. I remember sending my skateboard back and getting my Nintendo, and it was good. I like it's a little mashup of A Christmas Story and Jingle All the Way, and I like that. And I like the Steve Zahn stuff, and the big finish was had some emotion to it, and so it ended up being better than I expected it to be. It wouldn't be in my top 10 of the year, but I don't have any problem with it. It's good.
Well, the way I do my list, if you have forgotten my system, I break everything down to 4 categories: great, very good, good enough, and meh. That helps me organize everything.
Yeah.
So this one was in my good enough section.
Yeah.
But I feel like part of that is my own mental thing. I love Christmas. It's my favorite time of year. I'm just weird like that, okay? I like Christmas. But the minute the calendar hits December 26th, I don't want to hear the songs. I don't watch the movie. So, like, yeah, ask me this before Christmas, I'd be, oh, this movie's amazing. Now it's like, yeah, I remember it was pretty fun. So
Yeah.
I turned into the Grinch immediately after Christmas for whatever reason. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed it a lot. I think talking as like a family film, those are so rare to have a hit that you don't want to pull your hair out, and it is like really good for the whole family that everyone will enjoy. And said the ending having that emotional punch of he's told this whole story about his dad, and like you know we learn more at the end of he's missing his dad and he has this connection to his dad. So yeah, definitely the emotion put it over the top for me as a really really good movie. So yeah,
cool.
Well, Cliff, with this system, you got to come right back with number 8.
Oh crap. Okay. Number 8. I'm not sure if you guys saw it, but I did, and it's a movie.
Okay.
Based on another movie from a really long time ago, Ghostbusters Afterlife. They brought back the original cast. There just weren't that many good movies this year. I'm glad they held it off to, a year or year and a half or 2 years or however long it took to get this thing into theaters. But I rushed out to see it because I still have that memory of seeing the original 1984 in theaters. It's the first movie I can remember actually going to see and watching the whole thing and loving it and coming out. I love Ghostbusters, and now I have a little nephew that he loves Ghostbusters too, and he's 4 years old, and I was all in for it. I thought the story was, the story in kind of a Force Awakens way about it, but it's been a long time. We're 2 generations past Ghostbusters, and a lot of kids and young people don't know what Ghostbusters is, or it's don't have the attachment to it because it's just some old movie. I told the story about taking my daughter during the pandemic. The only movie we saw in theaters was the original Ghostbusters on a rewatch when they were playing classic movies because nothing else was coming out. So we loved it. Loved the they brought back people in this movie, but it wasn't entirely silly. It didn't encompass the whole movie. It didn't overshadow the new cast, who I thought were good enough. The only guy that we talked about, Paul Rudd being in it and being the name of the on the theater marquee, but he wasn't the best part of the movie. The kids were. And I just, again, not a lot of great movies for me out there, and I really like this, and I actually am waiting on it to come on streaming so I can watch it again. Because
I had hoped to watch this before it came time for this, but they're just holding out to the last minute. It'll probably be next week or the week after before they finally have it able to rent for $5. So I didn't make it, but that's the one thing about this stuff. Like a more serious list, we would be using vetoes and stuff, but it's like a Ka-Pow list where we're just putting in our favorites, and I don't want to yuck anybody's yum anyway. So just this, I had no doubt this was going to be on one of your picks, and it absolutely should be. It's like finally got a
this type of movie. Like, if I was going to compare it to something this year, like, on the opposite end, I would have something like Matrix Revolutions, or whatever that movie was called, where they took a property that a whole bunch of people loved and just made something terrible, I felt.
That was in my meh category.
It was terrible. Like, it was laughable to me in a bad way. And then we have something like Ghostbusters, and that they're trying to do the same thing with, and they did it so much better. And it hit all the right pacing and had all the right stuff in it to just, really grab you and take you back there. So,
And I heard that exact thing from multiple people in my nerdy fan circles. But you're probably the biggest Ghostbusters fan I know, and if you say it, I'll take your word for it, especially. Yeah, again, I'm the same boat. I definitely wanted to see this, and in a normal year, I probably would have went to that $6 Tuesday show and caught it. But just it's a weird. It's been a weird couple of years of when you pick and choose to go out in public. So yeah, I can't wait to watch it. I'm really looking forward to it, and I'll take your word for it. It's
7.
So, Jordan, it's time for you to
give
waiting. Your first pick. He gets 3 picks. Ooh. So his first one will be at number 7.
Yeah, this is tough, but I feel like this is about the right slot for me on this movie. This one has been getting tons of critical acclaim, and it's getting the award nominations from their actual, prestigious awards that aren't podcasts. But I've already poisoned the jury pool here. But I didn't love it. I really, really liked it, but it didn't. Again, I didn't see. I don't think what all the critics did. But so I think 7 is just about the right slot. Let's say The Power of the Dog.
It's just a man. Only another man.
Years since our first run together. 1900 and nothing.
It's a long time.
What you doing? Getting mixed up with her.
You are marvelous, Rose. We were married Sunday.
I wonder what little lady made these.
I did, sir.
Well, Brother Phil?
Open up the gate, let him out.
You sure he's not ready?
Go on, let him out.
He's just a man, Peter. Only another man.
A man's made by patience and the odds against him.
For what kind of man would I be if I did not help my mother?
This was the Netflix movie, director Jane Campion. Kind of a Western in the latter years of the Old West. There are cars. It's a little more civilized, but there are still, people making their fortunes out west. And this was Benedict Cumberbatch, Jesse Plemons, Kirsten Dunst, Cody Smith-McPhee. Just a powerful movie. Not a slam bang gun-toting Western, but a more quiet character study sort of thing. And Cumberbatch has really gotten acclaim for his performance. I think this is a big Golden Globe winner that were just announced a while back. So just it takes a while to kind of play out and to figure out all the everyone's motivations and everything. But by the end of it, it's really powerful. It's shot beautifully. It's a really great looking movie. So yeah, a very critical darling that I really, like I said, this was not one of the fun movies. This wasn't one of the action packed, jump up out of your seat and cheer movie. But it's really stuck with me, and it's taken up a rent in my head for the last couple months. So,
did you watch this, Cliff?
No, I did not. I saw it on a bunch of lists.
Yeah, it's good. I really liked it. I thought it was, it's definitely one of those that I thought about for a long time. I have not. I feel like I will watch it again sometime, not too far in the future. But I have thought about it since I saw it. Like it's really well done, and I liked just the whole thought of like these brothers. They're not poor. They have this money. Benedict Cumberbatch, though, is basically Pigpen in this movie. He's just like, he's made himself be this, uber cowboy rancher, while Jesse Plemons is more like the straight-laced, I don't need to go out and prove that I'm this cowboy, but Cumberbatch is like, he just almost is disgusted with the fact that he doesn't need to do this. He wants to be that. He makes himself be that scuzzy cowboy because he wants to stay attached to his past, and it's really well done. He's just like this, nasty person in it, and as you watch the movie and find out why he is the way that he is, being almost terrorizing to everyone around him. It's a great performance, and I again, there's a lot of good stuff in this, and I think definitely everybody should watch it. I had it about between 10 and 15 on my list,
and definitely has a lot to say about masculinity and the mythologizing of the Old West, and like what it meant to be a cowboy and a real man, and as America was moving on into a new era, and leaving some people behind. And
6.
That takes us to number 6, which is me again. I only have 2 picks left here. I better make this a good one, which sucks. I'm definitely going to risk it all and not pick something here. Wow. This is rough. This is rough. So you really threw me for a loop this week, Jordan, because I don't want to say anything.
Oh.
I don't know what to do now.
You played your card.
Yeah, you threw a joker out at me, and I'm like, well, I don't know what to do now. Is he going to do something, or is he not? And I don't know. At my number 6, I'm going to pick No Time to Die, James Bond movie. This was the 5th Daniel Craig James Bond movie. We had Casino Royale, Skyfall, I can't remember even all of them. Spectre, No Time to Die, whatever the other one was in there. But there was three really good ones: Casino Royale, Skyfall, and this, in my opinion. They retroactively decided at one point they were going to tie them all together, unlike most James Bonds. They were going to try to tell a full story with this character, and I think they pretty much pulled it off. Like, it's not perfect. I wish they knew they were going to done that from the beginning, all the way, back, it was 10 or 15 years ago, probably, when Casino Royale came out. Like, it's been quite a long time that he has been Bond, and things that got pushed back because of the pandemic. But, this tries to put away that story of, he had Vesper die, and he has been dealing with that. Now he has this new woman, and It's got a Blofeld or no, whoever, the villain is currently carrying over this legacy villain, and this movie just really has a lot of emotion to it. And there's some secrets in it. I assume neither of you have seen this, right? You're not big Bond guys. I'm more of a Mission Impossible, but I still love the spy stuff and the cars with the doohickeys. And
you're not going to get a Mission Impossible for 3 years. You're going to have to go somewhere else.
This wouldn't touch the list if I had anything else to hang my hat on. But it's got a great. I love the structure and the tradition of a Bond movie where there's going to be a cold open. It's going to have a lot of action and stuff. And at the end of it, they're going to do the Bond song, with the funky graphics and everything, and then go back into the story. And this was a great cold open. It was emotional. It had a great car chase. We had the return of the Aston Martin 60s version with all the doohickeys and all that. And then went into the Billie Eilish song opening and on into the story. I'd say that everything was good. There were some big surprises toward the end that I'm glad you aren't spoiled for. I won't spoil anyone for it. If you like James Bond, you still need to catch this. It was good. I don't know. I don't want to say anything more about it, except I really like that. Oh, I will say real quick that Ana de Armas is in this, and that was one of the great parts of this. She pops in as a new agent, partway through, and for like 10 minutes, it just does some great action with Daniel Craig that everybody loved, and I hope she gets to do some action movie in the future because of this. What were you gonna say, Cliff?
I couldn't tell you the last James Bond movie I watched. It may have been Roger Moore.
Wow.
Is it like a timeline, or is James Bond just a name? Is it like a legacy character?
They're all supposed to be James Bond. They are James Bond.
Okay, so they're all playing the same guy.
Yeah. Yes. No.
He's been to the moon.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes and no. They don't go far enough into it to like follow his storyline. It's not like that. It's not like, oh, Daniel Craig was supposed to have been in Moonraker, but they are playing that character. They just never talk about the earlier stuff.
Uh-huh.
It's a legacy character. Yeah. It's
kind of like Magnum PI.
In what way?
He's not looking.
What?
Oh.
Well, I have a sneaking suspicion that you wouldn't be terribly offended if someone vetoed this pick and allowed you to slide in some other movie you were thinking about.
Well, I could do that. You're going to take this out of the top 10 movies of the year?
I'm with Cliff. I'm not a Bond guy. I think I saw Casino Royale with Craig, and I don't think I've seen anything since. So I have no connection to this movie. And yeah, I'm going to veto it. Let's do it. Wow. Slide that other one in there. I prefer that one.
Okay. I'm going to twist it up on you and not put it in there.
All right, then.
Pull a fast one. I am going to pick a movie I drove to Columbus, saw a great double feature that day. And while I didn't love this as much as everybody else, I still thought it was great and entertaining and well shot and well acted and was super fun with lots of great needle drops. It was Paul Thomas Anderson's Licorice Pizza.
It's a god-awful small affair to the girl with the mousy hair.
I met the girl I'm gonna marry one day.
But her mommy is yelling no, and her daddy has told her to go.
Listen, young lady,
but her friend is nowhere to be seen.
So how'd you become such a hotshot
Now she
actor?
walks through her
I'm a showman. That's what I'm meant to do.
to the seat with the clearest view. Then she's hooked to the silver screen.
Do you know who I am?
Yeah.
Do you know who my girlfriend is?
Barbara Streisand?
Barbara Streisand.
Sand.
Sand, yeah, like sands. Like the ocean, like
Barbara
beaches.
Streisand?
No, like Streisand.
Sand.
But the film is a sad thing for.
This is fate that brought us together.
But she's lived it 10 times or more.
Our roads took us here.
She could spit in the eyes of fools.
You're not my director.
They ask her to focus.
Do you really want to see my boobs?
Can I touch them?
See you tomorrow.
Oh, you did see this. I didn't. I've been wanting to see it, but just because of the hype on it, but I have not seen it.
There is a lot of hype.
But I will say this. As I was listening to you talk about James Bond, I've been writing the movies down as we go along on our list so I don't forget. In that couple minutes, I could not remember the name of the James Bond movie, so I just wrote Bond down. So that was probably a pretty good. I'm glad Jordan vetoed that because at least this is a movie I want to go see and probably will soon.
Yeah, when he said "No Time to Die," I'm like, wait, which one is that? Some little indie? Or like I didn't even the word Bond didn't even spring to my mind.
Right, I'm a love
again. This is the Ka-Pow list. Your mileage may vary.
Yeah. Love Paul Thomas Anderson. Like, if you don't know, if you're not into directors, don't pay attention to that stuff. Who did what? He did some really amazing movies. Boogie Nights, Magnolia, There Will Be Blood. These are huge, great movies. That's scratching the surface. One of my top 5 movies of all time is Punch Drunk Love that he did with Adam Sandler. And, he's done other movies, but those are the top ones I like. And this was his latest movie, and it was the debut of Alana Haim, I believe is how you say her last name, from the group Haim, the 3 sisters. And she plays Alana Kane in this movie, and it opposite Cooper Hoffman, who's the son of the late Philip Seymour Hoffman.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and he's very good in it. They're both really good. There's some great performances in this movie. She's great. She's just great. I don't know what her future will hold, if she could ever top this. She plays a very specific character in this and does a great job. So I don't know if that's just who she is or not. We have nothing to compare either of the things these 2 actors did in this. Just maybe the pinnacle for them. I don't know, but it was really good. It had that Paul Thomas Anderson vibe. It's a period piece.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's like, he's a little too young for her, and they're, he trying to deal with that. And it's just like a vibe. It's just them going through their friendship, really, and coming back to each other, usually finding each other, and, just supporting each other as friends. They're good friends, and where it goes, who knows? But some great stuff in here. Sean Penn does some funny stuff. Bradley Cooper has a segment of the movie that's really funny and well done. But it's just although I didn't love it, it's still 10 times better than most anything that could be seen this year. So definitely you got to check it out. Licorice Pizza.
Yeah. The trailer made it look phenomenal.
Yeah.
I got the only thing, as I've seen that trailer a bunch of times in the theaters, The only thing I was hoping for, like, oh, is this like a Little Miss Sunshine type movie? You know, kind of indie, but there's, I don't know. It's just got
I could see that. Yeah. It's one of those types of movies. I would equate it most, if I was any of his movies, it's the most like Boogie Nights to me. It's that era, and it's that ensemble cast.
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing. There's a lot of stuff going on with them, with other people, dealing with each other's lives and where they go as they come apart and come back together, in and out with all these people. But it's just it's a vibe, kind of like that, and it's very entertaining.
Yeah, after that trailer dropped, this quickly shot to my number one want to see movie, but of course it's not going to open around here, so
right.
I'm
it is out now in Athens at
okay.
Athena Cinemas, where we went and saw last night in Soho. It is out there. It just came out this past week, so if you do want to check it out,
that trailer bowled me over. I love Paul Thomas Anderson. Boogie Nights, it's from that same era, which I adore. Boogie Nights. I've bought 2 Haim albums since then.
Yeah.
I'm prepping. I'm getting into this. I want to be on the Alana Haim bandwagon.
The only problem with this movie, I will warn you, is there's a guy, the actor, what is his name? John Michael Higgins. You know who this is?
Yeah, the comedian.
He's in Pitch Perfect. He's the announcer with Elizabeth Banks.
He's very broad. Announcer. He's very broad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Kind of looks like Dan Patrick. He plays a character who is laughably racist. Like it's supposed to be funny, I'm sure, and it's not. It's one of those where, like Long Duck Dong and 16 Candles, that's just not funny anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do that anymore in movies because it's not funny anymore. And that's what they try to do in this movie. Like, and they shouldn't have done it. I've seen, as a TikTok guy, Cliff, I'll probably try to find this TikTok and send it to you of this guy, like his rebuttal to this one TikTok kid. And it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good of a comeback of why this isn't funny and why Paul Thomas Anderson should be called out for it, because it's pathetic, honestly. Soured me almost on the movie.
You out of the movie.
Yeah. There's a couple moments with it, and it's pathetic. Otherwise, good movie. So moving on.
5.
We are going to pick number 5, which is Cliff.
We're halfway through.
Yeah.
Starting to feel the pressure. I only have one more pick after this, so I'll just shoot my shot here. Number 5.
Shoot a shot.
Shoot my shot. You got that reference, didn't
you? There's a lot of foreshadowing going on here for these picks.
Oh, Lin-Manuel Miranda's In the Heights, the musical spectacular. From stage, he brought it to the screen, and I think last year it was one of my most anticipated movies coming out, and I loved it. We've watched it a bunch of times. My daughter listens to the soundtrack still to this day, months after seeing this movie, and I thought it was great. Doing something different than he did with Hamilton, where Hamilton, they just filmed the stage show. They made an actual movie out of this, put a lot of money into it, and it's got some special guest stars, and he cameos in it, as well as Christopher Jackson, kind of playing dueling ice cream men. But I thought it was really good in the fact that it really captured the spirit of the original book, and then that he took inspiration and made the Broadway musical out of that he earned a bunch of awards for. It's just Lin-Manuel Miranda music. It's about a neighborhood, a dying neighborhood in New York City of Latinx people that are just trying to preserve what's left as if people move away and money goes away. And I thought it was pretty spectacular as far as movies this year went. So either of you guys see it?
Nope.
Nope. Trust me.
It's a theme. There's a theme tonight.
Yeah, it was great.
I saw 59 movies, Cliff.
But that wasn't one of them.
Right. So just don't tell me, you're like, it's it? It's not like I wasn't watching stuff.
It's on HBO.
It was pretty easy if you wanted to see.
I know. I had to go out of my way. All right. I don't.
Yeah, I got nothing to. Yeah, that? I'm not gonna.
I didn't see it, so I can't.
Yeah.
Don't feel comfortable vetoing it. And I'm sure it was great. If this is what Cliff likes the most.
Yes,
it needs to be on the list.
I love it.
And I feel like if this is the only musical on the list, that's okay.
Yeah, if this is the only thing with any songs in it.
That remains to be seen.
If there's still a whole bunch of musicals you guys are going to throw out on me, that might be a little bit overwhelming. But okay, we'll leave.
Well, he'd be mad if we veto his number one or his number two or whatever. We know what it's going to be, and maybe I have to get rid of that. Save those vetoes.
4.
All right, so that takes us to number 4. Jordan's second pick.
Number 4. I probably would have slotted in Judas and the Black Messiah here. We kind of ruled earlier we're going to count this as a last year movie. Technically, it was released in 2021.
But it won awards last year.
It was out in like limited theaters in time for the Oscars and all that stuff. So all the acting awards and stuff, it was all done a year ago. So Judas and the Black Messiah is a terrific film, definitely worth watching. But we're going to say it doesn't fit into this year's movie. So I'm going to drop the one you just mentioned a minute ago that we took a road trip to see, Last Night in Soho. Edgar Wright does horror.
Yes, he does.
This was, famously the director of Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, that British comedic craziness. I wasn't sure what to expect from this. It was a lot of 60s. The trailers and commercials showed a lot of, set pieces and fashion, high fashion from the 1960s. And, that's what it was. It was a little more straightforward, less jokey. It wasn't a spoof of anything. Starring Thomasin McKenzie and Anya Taylor-Joy, along with a few other, Matt Smith, Diana Rigg, Terrence Stamp. Some really classic British actors. I still feel like not a lot of people saw this one, so I don't want to spoil it. But I just thought it was a very strong film. The two actresses, it's basically a mousy, country girl goes to the big city of London, and she has loved the idea of the swinging 60s London, the fashion, the music, the style, everything, has just adored that her whole life. And she finally gets a chance to go to the city where all this happened. And of course, nothing is ever as it seems. There's always something hidden underneath the glossy surface. And, so the two women playing these like mirror images of each other was just so well done visually. A lot of the effects they did, the practical effects they did with mirrors, and the just the way he shot a lot of these scenes with the great fashion and the great music, just incorporated so much great stuff. And I thought it had a really phenomenal, timely message that I tried to explain once before and failed horribly, so I don't think I'm going to do it again. But just that idea of the glossy history stuff that we remember as being amazing there's generally something underneath it that's less savory, and everything that is beloved, usually there's some ghost haunting it that of someone who was exploited or harmed or ignored or steamrolled over to make this amazing thing happen, that we only remember the good parts and we ignore the horror. So yeah, I thought it was a wonderful looking film. It did some stuff I did not expect. The ending didn't quite work 100% for me, but by that point I was so on board that I was into it. So yeah, I want this to be more widely seen, so I hope you check it out when it's available to you. Last Night in Soho.
I always really like Matt Smith and almost anything he's been in and done. Television, movies, miniseries. Like, I don't know. I just I like the projects he picks are usually, I find, very, very good or up my alley.
Are you vetoing, or are you like that?
No, that's fine.
Yeah. This is a very specific situation here. I hate to let go by. I saw this movie with Jordan. I thought it was amazing. As far as like what it looked like, the vibe of it, that 60s vibe, what they were going for, oh my gosh, the mirror sequence was incredible. I purposefully have not watched how they made that because I don't even want to know. Like, it just, like, the magic of that, and Edgar Wright is like great. I love all of that. I like that he has left what he used to do and is, trying new things. And this is exactly the type of stuff I want to see from him. All of that. I agree with everything you said. Except I'm more mad about the end. I don't like the way I think he did not pull off that ending. Like, he did not get across what he was going for. Like, I know how to fix it. Like I'm just like, here's what you did wrong. You filmed this at the wrong angle. You revealed something you shouldn't have, and it just, or you should have, this and that, and not, those little things. And I just think I'm going to veto it.
Oh, wow.
Coming at you hard.
Okay.
Here. If I was like, oh, I agree, this is great, and I love it, I would be like all about it. But I'm going to take this opportunity to just make you pick something. And also, it wasn't your favorite movie of the year, so I feel like I can take this opportunity to veto you and see what you would put here.
It was pretty high up there.
I know.
I guess we're down to Pig. Yeah, I have a top 5 of things I didn't get to see. Like, I have these 5 movies. If I had seen them, would all be in my top 5. I'm guessing. Yeah. So again, it's just our circumstances.
Yeah.
Our geography, the current pandemic. So the list is not where it should be, probably.
Yeah, who knows what this is gonna look like when it's over.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to slot in that movie you wanted me to do, aren't I?
It almost like I'm sewing this up myself.
But see, I don't want to give you that satisfaction.
I know. so you don't have to. This is the chance I'm taking. I'm giving you the opportunity.
Pig it is. No, I guess I liked Pig a lot, but it was another one of those, like, I get what critics like about it, but it wasn't an enjoyable watch. Like, I really thought it was strongly made.
I will say, like, Pig is like so close to have been I could have easily put this at the 10 or 11 spot. I really enjoyed Pig because it was so unexpected. It's not what you think it is.
Yeah.
It's just a sad movie.
And I just watched The Lost Daughter on Netflix, the Olivia Colman, Jesse Buckley movie. And I feel the same way. Like, the performances are terrific. Critics love it. But it's just like, it's almost hard to watch. It's just, the movies should be enjoyable, something you want to watch over and over again. And I've suddenly slid in like 3 movies in this, trying to avoid talking about this other one. All right, it is the Poobah Awards. I will dance your puppet dance. And at slot 4, I'll put in The Last Duel.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And I was afraid, going over this list, I was afraid there's some kind of recency bias or whatever, because I literally just watched this movie this week.
Mm-hmm.
But again, going over this list, there's not a whole lot of really strong contenders. And this was a long movie, 2.5 hours, and I was kind of like, I'm dreading this medieval setting. You know what? This could be very over the top, and like, you know, what's that Heath Ledger movie, the
Knight's Tale.
Like, that kind of stuff doesn't really appeal to me. But yeah, this had a different take on things.
Yeah, 3 different
takes. Yeah, 3 different takes. A Rashomon kind of deal. The Ridley Scott movie based on a book Seth has read. Matt Damon, Adam Driver are 2 squires, I guess, is that at the beginning. And so the movie starts, and I'm thinking, boy, Matt Damon's character, he really needs a hat.
Oh,
it took him a long time before he put a hat on, which is not his normal thing.
Yeah, but he got there.
Eventually, he did it.
Hat Damon.
So I'm not loving the movie because I'm like, this character, everything he does is like, I'm doing this for the right reason, and I'm the good guy, and everyone's out to get me, and everyone's against me, and like, I just wasn't connecting to this character. And then we start chapter 2, and it's from Adam Driver's perspective, and we see the whole story again, but how it's seen from a different angle. It's like, oh, okay, we're getting these perspectives. So now we see why Adam Driver was right and Matt Damon was wrong. And then we get the third chapter, Jodie Comer, who is Matt Damon's wife in this, and we get, I think, the true story, I guess, quote unquote. So yeah, just an interesting way to do things. Great action. It wasn't a ton of action. It wasn't Braveheart or anything, but when they did have action, it was pretty intense. And Seth, I'll let you talk more about this one because I know you liked it as well.
I liked it probably equal to you. I really enjoyed it. I was a little surprised that I liked it more. You know, I was looking forward to it, but I did like it more than I thought I would. And I thought they all played their parts very well. You know, Adam Driver's great. Matt Damon is so obnoxiously the idiot, you know, just the eternal victim, you know, and way those stories shined on each other.
That he can pull off a line like when his wife is assaulted.
Yeah.
Man, that guy's always doing something to me.
Yeah.
It's like that's the core of his character. Like everything is against him.
A magnificent mullet.
Right.
Just like he is a walking
for
mullet.
The ages.
He is a walking mullet. And I would say a criticism of it for me is the Rashomon thing. Like I like the idea of seeing his perspective and then Adam Driver's perspective and how maybe that guy is not as bad as you think he is. Maybe you're not this victim. Maybe you create these problems for yourself sometimes. But ultimately, I almost feel like it was a mistake maybe to do that because I don't feel like the story they were trying to show you thought you were going to get this grave difference for her story. And basically, it was a terrible thing every time that happened, you know?
Yeah, it wasn't the 3 completely alternating takes.
Right.
And the assault scene in Adam Driver's version is horrific.
Yeah.
Where he's like the good guy. He's like, hey, we're having a good time. I was like, oh, that's terrible. And then in the third chapter, it's way worse.
Right.
So like I didn't know where they were going to go from there, but yeah, they managed to make it work.
Yeah. And ultimately, I like this very like the reason I vetoed is because I really like this at about the same level as Last Night in Soho. It's both really well executed movies that just have a couple flaws. Yeah. But ultimately I like this better. And I thought that the getting two things. One, getting to end with a great battle that was well executed. I enjoyed seeing the last duel, and like we said, this is based on a true dink story of the last duel in medieval France that was done, and and ultimately one of the best parts of the movie is just Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck has a ridiculous haircut, and he just like is just having orgies all the time, and he's just like every time his buddy Adam Driver shows up, he's like, hey man, take your pants off, let's get in here and orgy it up. It's like he doesn't care about all the struggles of being the king. I let's just do this, have a ball. The best moment.
That's the Mel Brooks line. It's good to be the king.
Yeah, and it definitely needs to be on this list just for the moment of Adam Driver trying to do some maths, and Ben Affleck knocks one of his abacuses over. That's just like, I wish that was just an improv moment of I'm gonna knock your abacus over. And just
nerd.
Like, oh man,
you nerd,
why'd you do that? You nerd. Yeah, just bullying. So yeah, I really like this. It's on HBO now, everybody should check it out. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool movie. That's how I would put it. So,
and has something to say again about the Me Too moment. Right. Believing women, the way people in power get away with stuff. That all that stuff that we're currently reckoning with over and over and over again.
Yeah, Ridley Scott's
similar to Last Night in Soho. Similar themes.
Yeah.
3.
So that takes us to the number 3 pick, my final pick, the only one I have left.
Wow.
So I'm just going to go with my number 1 movie of the year and then let you guys figure out the rest. I have a feeling I know where we're going to end up. The same day I saw Licorice Pizza, I saw a movie. This guy directed one of my favorite movie of the year a few years ago. And this is director Sean Baker, and the movie is Red Rocket.
You said you're never going to step a foot in Texas again.
I know, this is unexpected.
Nothing with you is unexpected.
Your last job is over 17 years ago. That's quite a gap.
Well, I've worked almost every day for the last 17 years. I moved back in with my wife last week.
No, I'm calling the cops. 10, 9,
really?
8.
We decided to make a run of it. I just need a place to crash for a couple of days. What's the big deal?
Mikey, go fuck yourself.
All right, look, I'm going to be straight with you. I'm an adult film actor.
Excuse me? So why are you back, Mr. Hollywood?
Mikey, welcome back, dude.
I'm on top of my game right now on like every single possible level. Physical stamina, my mind is sharp. I'm taking 5-HTP for serotonin in my brain.
Yeah?
With my skill and ability, there's no denying what I can do. The universe is on my side, bro. Before long, it'll be like we're still married.
We are still married.
This is on my top 5 list.
I knew. I was like, this is his top 5 movies he didn't see.
That's the next episode. Here's all the movies we didn't.
This, and mostly, while I I really like the movie. I would equate it to Licorice Pizza at the level of like it's just a really good movie throughout, just enjoyable throughout. It's cringy as heck, very much, but Baker really does these gritty, lower level, America, get really in the nooks and crannies of America, with the Florida Project and Tangerine. Just really gets in there and gets people that aren't even actors or are local actors and puts them in his movies. And it's really well done in that respect. And it's all good. It's a story of I'm not even going to reveal that. It's a story of a guy named Mikey Saber. He crawls back to his hometown of Texas City, Texas, and meets up with his estranged wife and meets a young woman at a local donut shop. And just he's a con man type person. It's the main character's played by Simon Rex, and this is the performance of the year for me. I would love to see him nominated for Best Actor. I'd love to see him win. Like, there might be a better performance. I don't know, but this was my favorite male performance of the year. At least.
I feel like this is what put this movie on the radar of critics and things, saying, "Wow, Simon Rex, the return of Simon Rex from
I'm so impressed.
The return? I mean,
yeah.
When was the first?
Yeah, he used to be something. But I was so impressed with his performance. It's so cringy and terrible, but like he is playing the worst person. And the movie lives in the shadow of Trump. Like this, it's set in a time of Trump running for president for no other reason than to have that reflection, really, of just he's that kind of guy. And he's just like shitty, but he's also so likable. He's so likable. It was like he's so good at like, just being so nice and really kiss everybody's butt. And there's a moment in the movie where he gets just buys some garage sale stuff and is like given an ashtray, and he takes it over to the ex-wife's house and he's like, "Look, I got you something," and he is giving them a new ashtray, but he doesn't just set it down on the table. He takes the old full ashtray and just dumps all the garbage into the new one. And man, it's just like a nothing moment that I was like, man, that is that guy. It's just like, here's this, but here's it comes with all this garbage. You still are it's all crap still. It's like, it's so well done. And there's a needle drop in this movie. The song, NSYNC song Bye 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 is played like 3 times in this movie, and all 3 times are impactful. So look out for that if you ever get to see it. It's a great movie. I don't want to spoil really what it's about, but it's good. Sean Baker is good at what he does. Simon Rex gives an incredible performance. It's a rough watch. Cliff, I'm afraid you might see a penis or 2 somewhere.
Oh man!
But was my favorite movie of the year because of the performance. I will say
that makes me so happy to hear, because a couple of these movies this year from directors I really love that I was really looking forward to. So yeah, I'm glad it's what I hoped it was.
2.
So now we're at number 2. Cliff, how do you beat Lin-Manuel Miranda?
With more Lin-Manuel Miranda.
They set you up.
Ghost Lin-Manuel Miranda? A key?
Yeah, my
In
number
esta
one.
listo?
My number one
Dios mío.
is a movie I just talked about, Encanto. I think it's pop culture might be the most impactful movie this year.
Many years ago, this candle blessed our family with a miracle. Our house, our casita, came to life with magic.
La casita.
Floors! Drawers! Let's go! In time, every member of our family,
Cecilia, up top!
was given their own magical gift.
I understand you.
I
not super strong like Luisa.
The donkeys got out again.
On it! Or effortlessly perfect like Señorita Perfecta Isabella. But Mama, why am I the only one that didn't get a gift? You're just as special as anyone else in this family. You just healed my hand with an arepa con queso. Casita? What's going on?
The magic is in danger. We gotta get out of here!
We must protect our home. We must protect our family.
This is my chance. I will save the magic.
Wait, how do I save the magic?
I'm losing my gift! Mirabel, the fate of the family is gonna come down to you.
I can't do this.
Let me help you. The rats told me everything. Don't eat those.
Even in our darkest...
Like I stated earlier, it was just an instant Disney classic for me. I normally love most Disney movies anyway. Everybody knows this, but man, I really feel like this one was different. And just, the direction, like I said, it's all stuff I've already covered, but recently the direction that they're taking their movies, their Disney movies, not Pixar, but Disney movies, into a, they're fun and they're silly and they're cartoons, but there's a deeper lying message that really hit home with people and families. And we talked about generational trauma and roles people fit into within families, or are fit in for them into a certain role in a family, and how they interact, how they deal with each other, how that affects everybody else. In this movie, in the village, it's about a film about a magical family that has something terrible happen to them, and a terrible loss that a character then has to rebuild and does, but there are costs to that, of her own doing, because of the fear she had and the trauma she experienced, that she passes on in different ways into her own family. And 3 generations later, we have not even the hero, but the hero of the magical family is the only one that doesn't have any gifts, but still has to deal with her own labels and trying to sort this mess out and navigate through what can be a very toxic situation, even though there's, everybody loves each other, everybody wants to get along, but it just doesn't work out always, or we push blame onto certain people that shouldn't. So it was the best thing I saw all year, and I hated that it's just been recently that we got to see it, but we were in the same boat. It came out into theaters around Thanksgiving, but a lot of people didn't see it until Disney Plus came along on Christmas Day, and man, it was like, that's when we watched it, and I was just like, this movie is amazing. And then, speaking about TikTok, there was just enlightenment to 3-minute videos of people pointing out different details and hidden details that I watched the thing several times, and I had to have people show me, hey, look in the background, there's this, or this really means this, or this represents, this power represents this, or this, all the gender roles. And it was just amazing. I loved it. And I hope this continues on, going all the way back to 2020, what was it, 2012, 2013, when Frozen came out. It was a phenomenon. Everybody loved the music, but it was the first one, they said, where the princess didn't need a prince to come in and save the day. And I feel, this one's kind of dethroned Frozen a little bit in that Disney recent hierarchy, just because the songs are so great. But in much the way I talked about with In the Heights that I loved, there was criticism, and about representation. They came back out, Lin-Manuel Miranda comes back with this one and did exactly what he said he was going to do. We have better representation in this movie of a, not the same, but a similar, I guess, culture, more or less. And, I can't wait to see what they do next. I mean, there's so much to criticize, I feel like, about the Disney company right now and the direction they're headed with some of the theme park stuff that I'm just not on board with. And, but yet they're spitting out this type of movie that, I don't know. There wasn't a lot of great animation this year. I think I had 2 on my entire list, of 25 movies. 2 of them were animated. There's a bunch of Disney, but this was the best of the best for me.
I'm glad we got it on there then.
Yeah, and like you said, this one's going to have a long life. People are going to rewatch it. It's going to have Disney attractions are going to spring up around it.
Right.
Kids are going to do Halloween costumes. Like
that's exactly
it's
what's
now
gonna happen.
in the culture forever.
Yes, very much the way that Frozen did 10 years ago. This movie is, here we are 10 years later with another, just timeless. Going to be a timeless classic movie because, it represents a Colombian culture, Latin culture, in that part of the world, but it's not set in a specific time period. Like Disney came out with another movie, an animated movie, Luca this year. And I thought Luca was really good. It had some criticism, but it did some really good things about representation and the gay community, and without just pushing it. Because I know I don't care if you put that right in front of me and tell me that's what it is. I'm okay with that. But I realize there's a lot of people out there that aren't okay with that and are going to scream, you're pushing this onto my kids, or you're pushing this in too much. I thought they did a great job with that movie and just doing a good amount. Had some flaws, but the story wasn't as good. But I thought it was a really good movie, and I thought that was going to be the Disney movie this year. The Disney or the Pixar movie was going to be Luca. But man, I very quickly forgot about that movie when I saw Encanto. In fact, the only reason I even wrote Luca down on my list was because I went through a list that said of movies that were released this year, and I went, oh yeah, I totally forgot about Luca. So, anyways, number 2.
All right, so if I were the worst person alive and vetoed that, would you have anything close to slotting into your number 2? Like, I feel like this was far and away your top pick.
Yeah, it pretty much was. I do, like I said, I started out on this list with basically 5 movies in my head. Like, I'm going to pick from these 5 movies. So this was the 4th one.
I know he's got something else in his back pocket, Jordan. I think you should do it.
I'm not going to veto it.
Not only that, he can keep up the same theme.
But it might not be the one you're thinking of.
I'm sure that you have endless Lin-Manuel Miranda.
It's another musical, I'm sure.
1.
All right, so that leaves the top slot.
Top slot, and you got it, baby. Man. And looking at this list, I'm feeling pretty good.
Pig. Come on, join me.
Finally, truffles for everybody.
No, I feel like there's very little
doubt.
What do you call it? Suspense.
Yeah.
It's Ka-Pow, baby. Spider-Man No Way Home, numero 1.
That spell where you wanted everyone to forget the Peter Parker Spider-Man. Be careful what you wish for. We started getting some visitors from every universe.
The multiverse is real?
Looks like we got competition. competition. You're not Peter Parker.
I am so confused right now.
Parker, we need to send them back.
You're thinking, hey, I'm about to do something that could break the universe, run it by us next time.
Deal. Let's catch some multiverse men.
Peter, you're struggling.
Look, there has to be another way.
They're a danger to our universe. Have everything you want, while the world tries to make you choose.
Is that a dinosaur?
I'll fix this, but I'm gonna need some help.
You're flying out into the darkness to fight ghosts. They all die fighting Spider-Man. It's their fate. This is why I never had kids.
You're not gonna take this away from me.
Do you know Peter Parker, who's Spider-Man? Yes. Is that him? No.
This is all my fault. I can't save everyone.
I'm sorry, kid.
We did it.
Yep.
I got you to pick two of my picks.
If you listen to our last review, I had a few criticisms about this movie. That it's a very simple plot. There's not a lot going on. It's not a real complex film. There's not a lot of like, after the initial twists and turns, there's not a lot of surprises. We all kind of knew what was going to happen almost, but none of that mattered. We said Endgame was the payoff of 20 movies, and it was all payoff. No Way Home was the payoff to 20 years of Spider-Man movies. And it was crowd pleasing. It was fun. People cheered in the theater. There's no criticism I could levy to take away from that. And this was, the Rotten Tomatoes and the critics score, like the fans are basically united on this movie. So yeah, it's got to be the number one for us, right?
I think that's the most Ka-Pow pick we could have.
Yeah, that was the other one on my top five that I had, that I knew he was going to pick, so I wasn't going to throw it out there. Yeah, I think exactly. Was it, the most innovative superhero movie we've ever seen? Not in story, but certainly in just the idea, the guts it took to even attempt to actually do it, using multiple reboots, and
in a time that there are so many conflicting contracts.
Yes.
That it was able to be done, to get all these guys together and pull it off, that they agreed to do it.
And between two, still this was Disney, Marvel, and Sony.
Yeah.
Which is, that alone was complicated enough, even with a little bit of history of doing the Tom Holland movies, but
yeah, and again, on top of that, maybe what it was some flash, it was a stunt. It was a good stunt, and honestly, it had some emotional moments to it, and I thought it was one of Tom Holland's best performances. Like he was really dug in and feeling it throughout, and like we said in our review, the idea of this loner Peter Parker actually being able to, find somebody who can understand what it's like to be Peter Parker. He just had to find some more Peter Parkers. And then the way that they, were able to tie in all the villains and give them resolutions, all of these things worked. They worked for me. And I'm I was definitely happy with it. Again, wasn't my favorite movie of the year, but it was close. It was like in my top 5, and I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah,
and it plays on that everything's nostalgia now, but like, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man came out in 2002. I had just graduated college. I was a comic book nerd. Like, this is pre-MCU. This is like, and that movie meant a lot to me. But there are people younger than me who were literal, children who that was their first experience and loved Spider-Man because of it. And then there's slightly older kids who love the Andrew Garfield movies, and the new fans who are obsessed with the MCU. And it just it rode that whole wave. Like, this is literally 20 years, 2 decades of fandom for the most iconic comic book character there is, because of these movies, that has been so impactful in pop culture, and it just threw him into a 2-hour soup and served it to all of us.
This
ate it up.
This was what Endgame was for us. My son liked Endgame, but this was more impactful to him. The specifically Spider-Man, like you're saying, just he grew up. He started with the Tobey Maguire stuff and went on, and so it was just a little more personal to him, but than the Endgame stuff. So, I think Spider-Man's so beloved that a lot of people connected to this.
Well, and I started off the list with just going, what was fun to see this year? What was a good experience? Oh, I watched
and
this.
It's not even close. It's not even close.
I watched 8-Bit Christmas, and I put it on my list because I had a great time watching it with my family, and much the same way, No Way Home, going to the theater and just experiencing it, people yelling, clapping, just having a great time throughout the entire movie. Just, you don't get that experience very often.
I think we did it. Although I'd have been fine, Jordan, if you said the best moment of the year was Nick Cage making that chef re-examine his entire life in the middle of his restaurant in Pig. That was a pretty good moment.
Spider Pig.
So let's get a few honorable mentions here, if you have any.
Well, my 5 would have been in 6 months from now. My top 5 would be Licorice Pizza, French Dispatch, Tragedy of Macbeth, the Coen brother movie, Red Rocket, and of course the Forever Purge.
Of course,
new Purge.
I saw,
but just haven't got to see any of this. So well, I was French Dispatch. Where is that on your list?
It's really good. It was like 11 for me. I think it's excellent. It's a very good Wes Anderson. So you'll like it. I think it's going to need some time to breathe, though. It's such a new movie. A lot of great stuff. When you don't get to make very many picks, there are some things left off here. But Dune came out this year. It just was a little clinical, was not fun, like you said. I liked it. It was my number 10, but it's not gonna make this list. I actually liked Hat Damon in Stillwater, which was a movie about a guy whose daughter, it's kind of an Amanda Knox type situation. His daughter gets arrested in another country and he has to try to get her out. That was pretty good. I was on the side of liking Don't Look Up. A lot of people, that's the most polarizing movie of the year.
Yeah.
It's the first one in my good enough section. Like it was good, but something about it just didn't.
It was like how people say cilantro. Some people think it tastes like soap. I think this movie was that. Some people, it just tastes like soap to them. They're like, it's too much on the nose satire, and for me, that stuff didn't bother me. I actually thought a lot of it was funny, but was smiling the whole time. And I literally the joke, Jennifer Lawrence's obsession with why that one guy charged them for candy bars is the joke of the year.
That was my favorite part of the year. That was my favorite part.
Best moment in a movie of the year is every time she surprised me with still thinking about that, because I would still be thinking about it.
That would be me too, yeah.
So that was great, and I like the ending. I like the ending, and I like the mid credits ending. So I like the way it wrapped up. A little emotional, and then some funny stuff, and so it was good. Don't want to spend too much time on that. The only other thing I would mention is The Rescue. That documentary on Disney is one of the most if you have not watched it yet, Cliff,
not yet.
It's good, but the story, the movie's good. The story is unbelievable. It's like how they got this soccer team out of these caves is, when you find out how, it's like, you did what? It's good. So definitely recommend The Rescue. You guys have any honorable mentions?
We hinted at it. Tick, Tick, Boom. Andrew Garfield, Lin-Manuel Miranda was the director. Palmer was a movie on Apple Plus. Justin Timberlake that was way better than I ever expected it to be. He just, he plays a guy fresh out of jail that goes home to his grandmother, who is basically taking care of this poor child that has a horrible mother, and is dealing with some gender issues and as a child in school, and being made fun of, and a whole lot of stuff. But I thought it was pretty good. We didn't mention Shang-Chi, Legends of the Ten Rings.
We didn't mention Black Widow.
Or Black Widow.
Or Eternals.
Or Eternals. Well,
Black Widow was in my top 10.
Yeah, I had Black Widow and I had Shang-Chi, 8 and 9. And then, which I thought both were really good. Eternals was but I really did enjoy those. And another animated movie I had at 7 was The Mitchells versus the Machines, that I just thought
I didn't love that as much as everybody else, but
I really liked it. It's hard to sometimes it's hard to come across good animation anymore. And I thought this was really good. I think it was a DreamWorks movie. I could be wrong, but
yeah, I think so.
But I thought the story was pretty good enough, and that's about all I had that I didn't mention. So
I had down at the bottom of my list. I paid to rent Venom 2: Let There Be Carnage because I was so afraid I was missing something after Spider-Man, the high of Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I'm like, I swear I must have missed something in Venom 2. I gotta watch this, and it was quite a turkey. I know. You liked the first Venom more than I did, but this one I don't think it worked.
I didn't even watch this because I heard it's not what the first one was. First one was just ludicrous. This was just bad.
And then I also really was disappointed in Matrix Resurrections. I watched it when it came out right before Christmas, and I had been really busy, and I had a bunch of stuff getting ready for Christmas, and I was it was getting really late at night. I gotta watch this movie, and but I was still excited. I wanted to watch it, but it was almost putting me to sleep. I was just not into it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's the circumstances watching it, but I didn't know what was going on, and I didn't care to know. So yeah, I was just really.
I think it was I thought it was the worst movie of the year that I saw.
Yeah.
And
I didn't hate it as much as you guys. I didn't. It was nowhere near up on my list, but I liked the focusing on the love story between those two. And there was a lot of fluff though that was unnecessary and a little boring, but I did like a few moments between the two of them where he kind of deferred to her, and I did like that.
Yeah, the concept was fine, the whole thing with the video game and all that stuff, and they had moments, but just flat, just completely flat for me. Just didn't do it.
Yep.
A couple biopics I liked, Being the Ricardos was pretty good.
I watched that.
That was the Prime one about Lucy and Ricky Ricardo.
Yeah. Has Nicole Kidman as Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
Lucy. King Richard, the tennis docudrama, Will Smith. That was pretty solid. I also like The Eyes of Tammy Faye.
Yeah,
Jessica Chastain.
Yeah.
As Jim and Tammy Faye Baker. I know there's a documentary with the same name. I think I'd rather watch and get the true story, because I don't think you don't really need to dramatize. These people are drama filled anyway. So like, I don't know, you really had to crank that up. But the minute I watched Annette, this musical movie, I feel like I have to talk about this because I can't believe it even exists. So did you ever get to see Annette?
I watched some of it.
Okay.
And then I do something and I never returned to it.
I think it took me 4 viewings to get through it.
I might try again.
I went about 20 minutes at a time. It's just weird.
It's weird.
Adam Driver, Marion Cotillard, and a puppet baby that looks kind of like a monkey.
I don't know why. Seems like it's got all the pieces.
Yeah. Puppy monkey baby. Puppy was that Super Bowl commercial. Yeah. Literally, I've never seen anything like it. So yeah, take that for what it's worth. And there were a bunch of movies this year that were like similar themed, like revenge action movies. Nobody.
Yeah.
Gunpowder Milkshake and Kate, like these lone, amazing fighters, fighting through 100 different people. I liked all of them. They're all very similar movies, but I thought they were all really, really good. And we're doing this a little bit earlier than normal. Like the Oscar nominations haven't even been released yet, so we don't even know what's.
They'll be copying off of us.
I'm sure they will. But I do have I have all the Golden Globe winners that was not broadcast. There wasn't a there wasn't a broadcast, but they announced who won. And this is usually like, this leads into what are going to be the Oscar nominations, but it felt like nobody cared. I figured we just double check if they got them right or not. So best director was Jane Campion, Power of the Dog. Best supporting actor, Cody Smith-McPhee, Power of the Dog. Supporting actress was Ariana DeBose, Anita from West Side Story.
She was good.
So those that's pretty good picks. So best actress in a musical or comedy, nominees were Marion Cotillard for Annette, Alana Haim, Licorice Pizza, Jennifer Lawrence, Don't Look Up, and Emma Stone for Cruella. That's weird. But the winner was Rachel Zegler from West Side Story, played Maria.
Should have been Haim or whatever.
So yeah, the Golden Globes are so weird. They do that musical or comedy thing that people try to squeeze into. They think that's the easier win, quote unquote. So yeah, those are kind of odd nominees that stack up against each other. Best actor, musical or comedy, nominees Leo DiCaprio for Don't Look Up, Peter Dinklage in Cyrano, Cooper Hoffman for Licorice Pizza, and Anthony Ramos for In the Heights. But the winner was Andrew Garfield for Tick, Tick, Boom.
It was good.
So yeah, a lot of these recurring.
I didn't hear any Simon Rex. What happened?
No, Globes don't. And also the Golden Globes are famous for nominating people like Leonardo DiCaprio because they want to hang out with him.
They want him to come to the award show.
Yeah, they want him to be there. They want to rub elbows with him. But there was no show.
Oh, the Golden Globes are garbage.
Yeah,
Go on.
Why are we even talking about it? Best actress in a drama. Nominees were Jessica Chastain for The Eyes of Tammy Faye, Olivia Colman in The Lost Daughter, Lady Gaga in House of Gucci, and Kristen Stewart for Spencer, the Diana movie.
I saw that.
And the winner was Nicole Kidman for being the Ricardo.
Give me a break.
The Ricardos. So
I enjoyed that because but she's not doing anything great. She's not acting like Lucy.
Yeah, it was weird.
I started to watch it. I fell asleep 10 minutes into it, and I woke up and the credits were rolling.
It was different.
Best Actor for a Drama nominees were Mahershala Ali in Swan Song, Javier Bardem for Being the Ricardos, Benedict Cumberbatch, Power of the Dog, and Denzel Washington in Macbeth. But the winner was Will Smith in King Richard.
Oh my.
So yeah, these are very mainstream picks along the not too far off from Ka-Pow picks. And the best movies of the year, musical or comedy, nominees were Cyrano, Don't Look Up, Licorice Pizza, and Tick Tick Boom, with the winner being West Side Story. And best drama nominees, Belfast, which a lot of people have been talking about that. Coda, I believe that's a foreign film, I believe.
No, Coda's that one. The girl is a child of deaf adults, whatever I told you about.
Okay, I'm thinking of something different. Okay. Dune. Okay. And King Richard. But the winner was The Power of the Dog.
Is that Cyrano movie even out?
I don't know.
I've seen the trailer a couple times, but I haven't seen it in theaters. But
I mean, it might be those limited release things just to get it in time for the awards. So yeah, if that means anything, that might be what your similar Oscar picks might be, or they might not be. Who knows? It might be Spider-Man all the way down.
We did it. Another one in the books.
Wow.
It's probably the 7th time we've done that, I guess. Something like
Good
that.
work. Good work.
All right. Well, see you next time.
And those were the Poobah Awards.
Oh, I love that song.
Bring down the curtain and turn out the light. Tell Lin-Manuel Miranda to write some new songs. And we'll see you next year. My name's Jordan Lowe.
Cliff Barnes.
Bye forever.
Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast, is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Sounds, music, and clips played during the podcast are property of copyright holders. All original content is property of www.udownwithkpp.com. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a comment. Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast, can be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, and wherever podcasts can be found. You can connect with us through social media on Facebook, YouTube, at the Ka-Pow Podcast on Twitter, or email the show, Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast @gmail.com. If you really want to go the extra mile, join our Patreon at patreon.com/udownwithkpp for special content and access to Patreon-only benefits. We are grateful for anyone who chooses to contribute, but please know that most of our content will remain free. So please continue to like, comment, and share.